Hey everyone, my name is Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the third eye chakra, and I know the concept of the third eye may sound mystical, but it's actually accessible to everyone. Today I'm going to teach you all about what the third eye is, and then I'll give you ways you can work on bringing balance to your third eye. As I've said in previous videos, this is a series that's going into more detail on each specific energy center. So if you've never even heard the word chakra before, watch this video here first. Okay, so the third eye chakra is the sixth chakra of the seven chakra system, and it's located between your eyebrows and a little bit further up. So basically, it's right in the center of your forehead. The third eye is closely intertwined with our spiritual essence, and it's very strongly linked to our intuition. So by aligning yourself with the energy of your third eye, you could start to access your intuitive nature. And we all have access to this. It's just that sometimes we get closed off from it. So if you feel like you're not an intuitive person, it doesn't mean you can't access your third eye's energy. It just means you may need a little extra work here. The way I like to describe the third eye's purpose is helping us to see the unseen. By this, I mean seeing what you can't see with your physical two eyes. So it's about tapping into the subtleties that we often miss when we're only focused on the physical world and we're not paying attention to the more spiritual world. I understand that this might sound unconventional, but this way of thinking that this is unconventional is really a product of what society wants us to think. This is often why children can more easily embrace their intuitive nature and establish connections with the spiritual world because they haven't yet been conditioned to suppress these abilities. As we become adults, societal norms encourage us to prioritize what's deemed as real, and our current society defines reality often within the bounds of the tangible material world. But our reality extends beyond the visible spectrum, so it extends beyond what we can actually see with our two human eyes. If you're interested in this topic, I highly recommend exploring the principles of quantum physics, as this will help this make more sense from a scientific standpoint. And it's just a really fascinating topic to explore. So since as adults we often become closed off to anything that we can't see physically, there's often a need to reintegrate spirituality into our lives and to reopen our minds to the unseen. Though this may sound challenging, it is accessible to each and every one of us if we choose to put in the time and effort. You may also hear the third eye chakra being called Ajna Chakra. Ajna is the Sanskrit name for the third eye, and when you translate this, it means to perceive or to command. We are more than just our physical body and our mind. This meaning of the third eye being to command, and the fact that the third eye is so spirituality based, helps us understand that our body and our minds are not the ones in control of us. It's our soul or our spirit that holds the reins of control over our being. This profound connection with your soul and spirit can be established through the gateway of the third eye. It's a really powerful energy center for reconnecting with your spirit. So each chakra also has an element associated with it, and for the third eye, the element is known as light. Light is the fastest known thing in our universe. Think of the saying, moving at the speed of light. That means moving really freaking fast. We can't even see some forms of light with our physical eyes, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. This is just like the information we learn with our third eye. It may be unseen, but it doesn't mean it's not real. You can also relate the third eye to the element of ether. I often associate the three upper chakras with the element of ether in general, as they're all the spiritual energy centers, but the third eye is the energy center of intuition, so choose what feels right for you. The third eye is also a place where we could find balance between our feminine and our masculine energy. And this is because the third eye chakra is where our right side energy and our left side energy come together. The right side energy channel, also known as Pingala, is related to our masculine energy, and the left side energy, also known as Ida, is related to our feminine energy. We all have both masculine and feminine energy within us, regardless of gender, and the third eye is where both come together. So not only does this energy center go beyond what we see in our physical world, it also goes beyond gender. So here at the third eye, we can really find balance and unity within our energy. Next up, like all my other chakra videos, we'll talk about what an unbalanced third eye chakra may look like. But as always, remember, this is looking deeper into our energetic connection to the mind and body. While it can definitely create profound healing effects, it's not intended to replace medical treatment. So if you are experiencing any physical, mental, or emotional symptoms, please consult with your medical doctor. Like any other chakra, the third eye can become underactive or overactive, but I'll say that I find most people on average will have an underactive third eye just due to societal norms trying to turn us away from our intuitive nature. Third eye energy imbalances can appear physically in the form of headaches or issues with sleep. The third eye is closely related with sleep as it's in the location of what's called our pineal gland in our brain. And the pineal gland is involved in our circadian rhythm. You could think of this rhythm as like our internal clock, which controls our sleep and wake cycles. So that's just an interesting connection of how the third eye relates to sleep and relates to our brain. Some presentations of a blocked third eye, either mentally or emotionally, would be someone who's really narrow-minded and really set in their ways. Like they can't see others' perspectives and they're not open to challenging their own ideas. A blocked third eye may also look like someone who has difficulty coming up with new ideas or planning. The third eye is where we dream. So this is where we come up with an idea, and then our lower chakras will help us bring this idea into the world if we so choose. So the third eye is basically where we think the ideas that we want to manifest. So now that you understand what the third eye is all about, let's talk about ways you can work to balance the energy here. First up, we're starting with a yoga pose, and the yoga pose that's great for balancing the third eye is child's pose. Child's pose is so good for connecting with the third eye. This yoga pose really is about bringing balance to this energy center, and it can be helpful for either an overactive or underactive third eye. I personally like wide leg child's pose best, but really any variation of child's pose will work, so choose what feels best for you and your body. The reason that child's pose works is that you're resting your third eye on the earth in child's pose. So this can help stimulate energy flow here. To even stimulate some more energy flow, you can even kind of move the head left and right. That can be helpful for some people to get a little extra stimulation in the third eye. But remember, this is the energy center of your intuition. So do what feels best for you. Do you feel more connection with the third eye when you're just still on the earth or with movement? There's no right or wrong answer. You could keep the palms facing up. You can keep the palms facing down. Really connect with your intuition while you're doing your child's pose and see what feels best for you and what helps you to connect with this energy. If you do happen to have an overactive third eye, you could still use child's pose. What I would suggest is imagining any excess energy from the third eye releasing into the earth. So that's like a little variation that you can do with this pose to make it more specific for an overactive third eye. Up next, we have meditation. Meditation can be used for each of the chakras in specific ways, but it's an especially powerful practice for connecting with the third eye chakra. The third eye is the center of our intuition, which is why meditation is so powerful here. Our physical two eyes can really distract us from seeing with the third eye. So what better way to connect here than to actually close our two eyes and bring our attention within? In meditation, you're reconnecting with your soul and reminding yourself that there is more than the eyes can see. You could keep this meditation super simple by just closing your eyes and placing your awareness on the space in the center of your forehead. As you connect deeper with the third eye chakra, maybe you'll even start to be able to feel the energy here, which is pretty cool. But if you don't feel anything, no worries. Even just placing your attention here is working to start to activate the third eye. As your connection with the third eye grows, it'll be even easier to connect here while you're even just going about your day. Tip number 3 is to chant Om. Each chakra is associated with a specific sound, and the third eye is associated with a sound you're probably already familiar with. So the sound here is Om. Om is a well-known mantra for a good reason. Om is known as the sound of the universe. So by chanting Om, you're basically aligning with the universe's vibration. You're acknowledging forces that are unseen. With Om, you're opening yourself up to expanding your awareness. For this mantra, I do recommend saying it aloud to connect with the third eye. Saying it silently in your head connects with a little bit of a different energy center. So if you can say it aloud, that's amazing. So repeat Om as frequently as you intuitively feel necessary. Using your intuition to guide you will only make this practice even more powerful for the third eye. The next tip is to start to notice and acknowledge synchronicities. Coincidence or synchronicity? We often label things as coincidences because this is what society teaches us, but is it really only a coincidence or is it something more? A synchronicity is a connection through space and is when we're tuned in beyond our five senses. So an example of a synchronicity would be seeing a specific number over and over again. Another example is like thinking of a friend who you haven't talked to in months and then they call you like 1 minute later. So those are like common examples. And I'm not saying that every coincidence is a synchronicity, but I am saying that not everything is a coincidence. The more you open yourself up to receiving information from space or the spiritual world or the universe, whatever you connect with, the more you will experience these synchronicities. I think usually when a coincidence happens and your response is, that was really freaking weird, it was probably a synchronicity. My sisters and I have synchronicities that happen all of the time. Like this is like just kind of like a comical example, not so comical for us. My mom laughs because if one of us calls her to complain we're feeling like nauseous or something, there's a high likelihood that she's getting a call from another sister with the same complaint within the next few minutes. So it's just like a little interesting, fun thing that happens to us. Not so fun when we're feeling nauseous, but it's just interesting that connection that we have. And there are so many ways you can experience this. I experience many more synchronicities all the time, and the more I'm opening up spiritually, the more I experience synchronicities and I experience receiving messages from the spiritual world. It's really cool to see. So for you, the more you start to tap into and recognize the more mundane synchronicities, the easier it will be to notice communication from the spiritual world. Tip number 5 is to practice alternate nostril breathing. There are many different types of pranayama or breathwork practices that can help to balance the third eye. One practice that I like is alternate nostril breathing. And alternate nostril breathing works really great because the meeting point of our left side energy and our right side energy is at the third eye. So by working on alternate nostril breathing, you're working to balance your masculine energy and feminine energy right at the third eye region. This breathwork practice is really specific to the third eye because when you're doing it, you're actually placing your hands in the third eye region. There is a specific way to do alternate nostril breathing, which might be kind of boring if I go through in detail here. So if you are interested in this tip, I do have this breathing technique in one of my yoga classes right here on YouTube. You can do the entire practice if you want. I'll link it below, but if you just want to learn the breath, you could skip to the timestamp that's listed below. Tip number 6 is to connect with the color purple. The color associated with the third eye is purple, but more specifically, it's like indigo, so like a deeper purple color as opposed to a light purple. So having the color purple around you, wearing purple, is a wonderful way to remind your body and mind of your intention to create balance within the third eye chakra. And if you like crystals, an amethyst crystal can be really great for this. So if you like having crystals around you, having an amethyst around you can be helpful for the third eye. So those are your tips for balancing the third eye. The third eye is such a beautiful and mystical energy center, and we really can all connect with it. I really want to stress that because I feel like people think, oh, I'm just like not intuitive, I can't connect with my third eye, I'm not spiritual in that way, but it is accessible to all of us if you put the time and effort in. So that's all for today. I will be posting a yoga flow for the third eye next week, and I'll link all other chakra videos in the description down below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button right below me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.